took me down to the river so I could drown, drown, drown. You're going down. You're going down, down. You walk all over me. You never thought I'd be the one who's laughing low now that you're going down.
Although the Elven Ranger Corps fought bravely against the relentless onslaught of Arthur's Scourge, the elves were unable to keep the Death Knight from seizing the Key of the Three Moons and pushing deeper into the Inner Kingdom. Arthas wasted no time in fortifying his position to the southwest of the city. Sylvanas then set up her own base across the river from Arthur's right flank and began leading strikes against the undead.
Did you forget about us, you wretches? Basha Nofalotala.
No, I did not forget about you. Ha, so sleek koch! Never mind that. Well, as you can see, Sylvanas attacks with 2 archers and a footman pretty much straight away, so just get prepared for them. Build a couple of crypt fiends, and instead of having your necromancer attack with the group, have him follow Arthas. That way, well, he's still a priority target, so just take him out. But get him to raise a couple of dead from your graveyard, because you'll have some straight away. You'll also want your ghouls to mine these trees here. That way you can set up attack ziggurats on the, what do you call it? The ledge. Also, you want to build a slaughterhouse and a temple of the damned to build meat wagons and necromancers, and later on banshees, because we'll be doing the optional quest in the main part of the mission. Now, I don't know, Arthas must have some sort of ally with extrasensory perception or something, or X-ray vision, or some sort of far sight ability, because somehow they know when runners are going to the village. Not only that, the runners have line of sight for you, which I don't quite get, but I'm willing to run with it. Anyway, as soon as you notice the runners are heading to the main teal base, you'll be given 4 gargoyles. So don't build too much straight away until you get the gargoyles, unless you really, if you want to keep the no upkeep. And the gargoyles are good for scouting as well as killing the runners. I find them especially useful if you keep like 1 on each bridge, and then have them run. And of course, when you're being attacked by the blues, you can have them flank the enemy by going up behind them and attacking their ballistas. Well, so the ballistas don't attack your building. So, your men can take out the other men. The men in your base can take out the other guys pretty easily, whereas the gargoyles can take out the ballistas. And everyone dies except you. Yay! Yeah, as I said earlier about the setting up the ziggurats on the ledge, do them like this. It just means that the enemy will be attacked by them, and if they're attacking them while they're on the ledge, they miss often. You know how stuff like that works. I hope, anyway. It worked in StarCraft like that too. It was a bitch to attack anything on the ledge because you'd miss like 80% of the time. Alright, and when it comes to defense of the upper entrance of your base, wouldn't really worry about it too much. You do get attacked quite a lot, but the attacks are never actually that heavy through the upper entrance, I've noticed. I mean, this is just for me, but I've always been quite fast enough so that I never really get that many attacks in the upper entrance. So if you're fast and using this guide, you should learn how to be, even if you don't know how to be already, then you should be able to defend quite easily. If your gargoyles get attacks, they have that very useful stone form ability which increases their regeneration rate, which means you don't have to waste mana healing them with your Death Ray, Death Coil, that's what it's called. Death Bolt. Some sort of green sludge that heals undead units. Like the opposite of Holy Light from the Paladins, except it sucks because Holy Light happened instantly. I tell you, the amount of times I've thrown a bloody Death Bolt at one of my own units, and someone else has hit them just before. Whereas if they'd been wholly lighted by a paladin, it would have happened instantly. But that's just my experience. Time skip. Well, the strategy I'm going to use here is, once again, collect up dead bodies with your thingamabobs, your catapult meat wagons, and use them to raise the dead. Except this time, you should have leveled up with Arthas quite quickly, so he'll have a use Animate Dead spell, which I'm about to use.
What is it now?
Animate Dead is quite fun because it actually animates the most powerful units in a bunch of corpses. So I tend to use them to take out things like stationary targets, you know, buildings and ballistas. And then of course raise the dead and throw the skeletons in. Do the same thing here, is you just send the first 24 in, or 20 as I've got, because I only got 10 necromancers. But first, just send the first big bunch in, and then wait, and then send the next bunch in. Like so. And once these skeletons have got the first, you know, softened up the defenses with the first bunch, and then send in the skeletons, and then send in your main troops. I pretty much managed to keep everyone alive except my catapults here. But the base was taken down, destroyed, swept through quite easily, despite how this battle may look. After beating back several assaults by Sylvanas, Arthas advanced his forces to the bridge between his and Sylvanas' camps, where fierce fighting ensued. After a brief yet bloody stalemate, the Scourge gained the upper hand. As the attacks began to wind down, Arthas and his forces charged into Sylvanas' camp, slaughtering all in their way. Sylvanas' warriors fought bravely to the last man, but were inevitably overwhelmed. As her base crumbled around her, Sylvanas was personally approached by Arthas. Before she could load her bow, the Death Knight cut her down, in sadistic retribution for resisting him so fiercely. Arthas transformed Sylvanas into a banshee, binding her to the Lich King's will. See, that's the kind of thing you want to do if you're doing a Let's Play, which this is not. Anyway, same dealio with the second base, except it's slightly harder since they haven't. The teal base has an archmage which loves to just rain ice down on you, while you're trying to cross the damn bridge, which is a bitch. But it is not too difficult to deal with if you do the same animate dead and then raise dead, chuck them across the bridge thing. If you did manage to get the secondary objective completed, then you will be allowed to produce banshees now, which are pretty cool. You can't use Sylvanas' possession, but you can use ordinary banshees to possess any unit that's not above level 5, that's not flying, it's not a hero. Which is pretty cool, you know. But, so what you could do, in theory, is max out your units and then go around the map and possess all the creeps. But I didn't bother doing that, I just killed them and kept their corpses to animate the dead. When it comes to defeating the Sunwell's Guardians, I might suggest pulling the, trying to draw 2 of them out at a time. And maybe getting some skeletons around if you can find any corpses. One last thing I might suggest doing is just building units at the same time as you're attacking the base. Just have them queued up in the in your crypts and Temple of the Dams and Slaughterhouse and stuff, and just have them automatically rally on Arthas, because he'll be in the base. And it just means they'll be rallying around him, attacking and stuff, and it means you don't have to micromanage as much. Entering the city itself, the undead encountered fanatic last-ditch resistance from the elves. Yet, despite their fury, they could not hold back the dead, who rolled over them like a wave of carnage. Even the powerful arcane constructs built to protect the Sunwell could not hold out for long against the horrid wave of the undead. As the final defenders were wiped out, Arthas placed Kel'Thuzar's remains in the Sunwell, resurrecting her as a lich and fouling the well. Quel'Thalas had ceased to exist as a nation. You know, there are quite a few creep camps on this level. There's one here with the gnolls, which doesn't really have anything. There's one here with the mercenary camp with a bunch of ogres. I mean, these are the kind of units you want to possess if you can, but you can just buy them anyway. Apart from the ogre magi. There is a fountain of mana and a fountain of health on this map. Just north of your base, there's actually 2 rock golems. One of them drops a ring of regeneration, which I swapped out for the ring of protection +2. I thought, why the hell not? And the final creep camp is just to the right of the right entrance of the enemy base. The teal base, that is. And it's just got some gnolls. Again, keep the bodies or possess them if you like.